All right, Allison, taking a look at your research report. And first thing I'd like to tell you is I appreciate your what looks like a very proper use of APA in your title page and everything looks good. So great job. Kudos on that. You chose to do it in an APA and it looks like you're doing it correctly. So that's a great start. Now, your title could be in bold here, but that's not anything I'm going to quibble over. So let's take a look at what you got written here. So introduction, having emotional trauma disorders. Okay, nicely done. So it looks like you've got a um, done a great job with your citation here, and your parenthetical is well done. Um, very good, very nicely done. This research report aims to explore the okay. So your thesis statement looks good. Literature review: emotional support animals can be any domesticated animal. Nice, nicely done. You've got a great grasp on your writing in APA. So I'm guessing you're either familiar with it or you did a really nice job of learning and using the Easy Writer or something to help you do it. Awesome. Very nicely done. Signal phrases everywhere where they should be. One thing you might want to consider is it's good to, the very first time that you mention an author, it's good to actually qualify them. So, like the first time that you mentioned Carol up here, it's not so bad the way you've done it here because you're just introducing some details about, to help your introduction. But when you get down in the literature review and you're actually providing the important, really important information that has to do with the topic itself, and especially with having to do with the argumentative sides of the issue and stuff, then you should actually introduce that author, uh, at least the first author, the main author, and say, or you could say something like, according to Carroll et al. 2020, and then you could follow that with a comma, and then something like authors of such and such works, or researchers at such and such institute, or whatever, right? Um, so qualify them and use their full name the first time you mention them is the best way to introduce your new authors. After that, you only have to do what you've been doing, which is just to mention them. You can either mention them by their name in the signal phrase. If you remember this, if you mention them in the signal phrase, and it's all, if this is all one sentence right here, and this right here, you would not have to have her name mentioned again here, since you already mentioned it in the signal phrase, right? So here in this one, all you need to do is have P period 510. So if you use the author's name in the signal phrase, you don't need it in here, and vice versa. You only need the author's name in one place or the other, not both. But do consider going through and introducing these authors. Now this one you did. This one is good. According to Jillian Farrell and Susan Crowley from the Department of Psychology at Utah State, that's good. That's what I'm looking for. Citing them by their full name and qualifying them by saying something about them that tells us that they are worth listening to, right? So that's what I'm looking for. Do that. Make sure you do that for all of them the first time you mention a new author or authors. So Everything is looking really good. You get your gap here you talk about, awesome. Your method section, primary method, primary research. Problem, okay, good. Put that in bold and talking about your problem with the primary research. Great job, great job. Very, very nicely done. All right, results. Consistent with primary articles. Good. Look, that's the sort of thing I'm looking for right there. Awesome. You have your figure here. Good. Typically, it's best to introduce that figure in the paragraph before it. So if you don't have it in here, I'm not seeing it. But if you have it somewhere, maybe just move it up here. But like here, where you're introducing this point that relates to that the figure backs up, you should say something like, maybe at the end of one of them, you could put in parentheses C, C, like in parentheses, you could put something like C figure 1, right? And then it would come right after that, and that would be great. So that's something you can do. But you want to introduce it here in the first paragraph before it so that your audience knows what's coming up and why it's there. And then you can talk about it here like you've done. So that's great. And that's good. All right, everything's looking really good. Here's your discussion section. So you did a separate section for the discussion. And that looks all good. Now, one thing you got to be careful about, you don't want to end an entire paragraph like this with an entry like this, a source citation, because what that does is it makes it seem like the whole entire paragraph is from the source and that your voice isn't in here at all. So you got to make sure to fix that by introducing that source citation with a proper signal phrase, and remember the hamburger method. You should always have your voice come before to make the point. Then the citation is the meat of the hamburger. The top bun is your voice making an assertion or a point. The meat is the source citation backing up that top bun. And then you need to have a bottom bun, which is your voice again, helping your audience understand that point being made, right? Kind of elaborating on what you're trying to get across here, right? In that bottom button. So your voice should come here after it. Okay. Otherwise, looking really good. Nice, short and sweet conclusion. Okay, good job. References page looks really nice. Fine job. FGHC, good. All right. That's about it, Allison. You've done an awesome job here to start with. And what I would suggest is going through and fixing any of the stuff that I did point out. And make sure you highlight anything that you fix. Go up here and use your highlighter tool. Highlight whatever you fix, or at least some part of it. And then you'll put a note over here telling me what you did to fix it. Okay. So you want to highlight it and annotate it so that I know what you fixed and where all the fixes are. You got to do it for everything that you fix. Okay. If you happen to remove something, all you have to do is just highlight a space here, like close to where you removed it from. If I took out a sentence here, I would just highlight this and then put a note saying I removed a sentence here about such and such, right? And so you got to fix all that and highlight it so that I can tell that you fixed it. And then what I would really suggest, highly suggest, is that you resubmit it to me. Even though you've done a great job here, you can still resubmit it to me after you fix these little things so that I can give you more feedback and we can make sure that it's really perfect and ready to go for the final portfolio. All right. So that is it for this video. As always, let me know if you have questions or need help.